want to get back out to our Tara Molina. She has been in the middle of these protests. Tara, you're near Washington, or on Washington, right at Damon and Wood. What are you seeing out there right now?
You've got it, Erica and Joe. We actually watched all of this unfold. It started with a shaking of the fences to loosen up the barricades, and I'm going to step out of the way so you can take a look at exactly what happened next. One of those barricades came down, then a couple of others. You can see those kind of breaks in the fence still exist right now with riot police lined up right behind them. There were a number of people arrested. I believe the count is 4 right now. They were moved out. You can see now police are in that area. It's no longer filled with protesters. I also want to emphasize that this was a small group of the thousands of people who we covered here today who were majorly peaceful. This was maybe 100 people. But what happened? They shook the fence. It came down. They started breaking through. We saw police shortly thereafter put on their gas masks. Then the riot police you see right now through that break in the fence moved in. Those arrests happened. People started throwing drinks at police, signs at police, just generally trying to agitate officers is what we witnessed over the barricade. And now there's a line of protesters you can see matching the line of police officers on the other side. We've not seen anything happen outside of those 4 arrests. And again, what I really want to emphasize here, because we've been here since this morning, that there were hours of peaceful rallying and protests, and then a few people, some would call them agitators, decided to take these measures, and I feel as though it would be concerning if that was the headline today, because it was a small group compared to the thousands here that were truly just here to make their voices heard.
All right, thank you, Tara, for that perspective.
Just a quick update. We were wondering about the crowds here. I just got a text from a contact who said we're on buses from the JW Marriott in the Loop, and Secret Service halted all private buses to the United Center. This was about 7 minutes ago. And then a minute ago, he wrote back and said buses now free to go. So we'll probably start seeing more of the crowd and the delegates arriving soon.
Right, and that was one of the things that we were asking about amongst ourselves in terms of how close these protesters and the potential arrests were to where the buses would need to get through those fences. So at this point, it's good to hear that
right. And
it's
you
back
wonder,
moving again.
Leslie Hairston just pointed out, the fact that you have a president here and a vice president ratchets up any response that's going to be happening around the United Center.
Right.
So you know when this thing started to go south a little bit, everything changed.
And we also know, because we saw President Biden here and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, it's not that they're still at their hotels trying to get here. They are, or at some point they were in the vicinity. No confirmation of where they are now, but for them to have been in the midst of this as the protests were moving this way was probably something they wanted to make sure they could keep them safe among everyone else, of course, as well. All right, now we want to get back to our Charlie DeMar. He is right there on the scene where people have been putting on gas masks. So, Charlie, what are you seeing? It looks like you're down on the ground now by some of that fencing.
We are. We're back at Washington and Walcott. This is the fence, or at least appears to be part of the fence that has come ajar. But things are calmer now. U.S. Capitol Police is who we see on the other side. You see them with the riot shields and their face masks. Again, just standing guard, having a line here. We did just see Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling walking behind them just moments ago with some of his top brass with him. Again, it does seem a bit calmer here from just the reports from our colleagues Tara Molina and Dave Savini. But again, this does appear to be the fencing that came ajar that created this response in the first place. So we do see a number of people still lingering around here. Some of them have been trying to agitate the officers, yelling at them, banging against the fencing, but a much calmer presence, at least in the last 5-10 minutes since we've been here, guys.
Charlie, thank you.